Okay, good. No one's listening in. Hey, it's me. I'm currently working on a time machine that's small enough to hide, yet large enough to carry this tape recording to the past to warn people. It's the year 2027. I know. You guys are probably asking, what happened to your hair? Well, I wrongly assumed one of my relatives' gender, and they held me down and buzzed my hair to teach me a lesson not to assume someone's gender. That'll teach you a lesson to assume someone's gender? Your hair's coming off! Oh no, please! Yeah, now you'll know what it's like when someone assumes your gender! Oh yeah! Guys, that's what happened to my hair. It's all gone now, not pretty and feminine. I look like a dyke. Anyways, you guys who are politically woke probably know the fact that Republicans and Democrats are on the same team. And that ever since America's founding, America has been a Freemasonic state. And the presidents who have run it have always been Freemasonic presidents who have sustained liberalism for eventually accomplishing the one world order, which is what we are in now. Now, all of you may be saying, no, President Trump would never do that. He promised to put America first, and that's what he's doing, making America great again. Wrong. President Trump used unjust warfare on Syria and in the Middle East, and even threatened it in North Korea, to distract all of you from his real intent. While all of you guys were spending your time worrying about a war that was never really going to happen, he was successfully doing nothing more than bringing about his one world order that he was setting up for. Trump is no true conservative. He supports abortion in cases of rape and incest.
Even in pregnancy, early in the pregnancy, is murder to you?
No, what I'm saying is this, with caveats, life of the mother, incest, rape, and that's where I stand. And it's so I'm pro-life, but with the caveats, and you have to have with the caveats.
Right.
So it's pro-life, just because it's the first time you've asked me this question.
Well,
and
it's a fact a lot of people here care about the issue.
That's right. So it's pro-life, right? But it's life of the mother, very important, incest and rape.
Okay. So say
with the caveats, and you have to have with the caveats.
Right.
So it's pro-life, just because it's the first time you've asked me this question.
Well, it's a fact a lot of people here care about the issue.
That's right. So it's pro-life, right? But it's life of the mother, very important, incest and rape.
Okay.
Caveats, and you have to have with the caveats.
Right.
So it's pro-life, just because it's the first time you've asked me this question.
Well,
and
it's a fact a lot of people here care about the issue.
That's right. So it's pro-life, right? But it's life of the mother, very important, incest and rape.
Okay. So
Trump is also a supporter of the LGBTQ community.
As your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology. Believe me.
Trump also supported unjust warfare for selfish gains.
Trump is facing his first crisis requiring decisions that only a president can make. After a chaotic beginning to his administration, the world is watching what he will choose. Tonight, the Pentagon is presenting Mr. Trump with options for a U.S. strike on the Syrian regime, a response to that nerve gas attack this week that killed more than 80 Syrian civilians. Nerve gas is banned by international convention. Its use is a war crime. But the Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad has inflicted it repeatedly against civilians who rebelled against his rule 6 years ago. Today, Mr. Trump said, quote, "Something has to happen." Holly Williams reports from the Syrian border where survivors of the attack are being treated.
Abdul Hamid al-Yusuf lost his 9-month-old twins in the attack, Aya and Ahmed. "Say goodbye, my loves," he said, before he buried them along with his wife and several other family members. Turkey's government said today that initial findings suggest it was sarin nerve agent. The chief suspect is the Syrian regime, in part because the target was in a rebel-controlled area that's been pummeled with airstrikes by the regime and its ally, Russia. Witnesses from the town of Han Shaihoun say the chemicals were dropped on them from the air. The explanation for this atrocity given by Russia and the Syrian regime is that a conventional regime airstrike hit a chemical weapons facility run by rebel forces. But a conventional strike, say experts, would actually destroy these chemicals, not disperse them. And wouldn't produce scenes like this. People with no visible wounds, foaming at the mouth and suffocating to death. Syria's foreign minister claimed today that his government has not and will not use chemical weapons. But in 2013, the US and several of its allies concluded it had, killing hundreds in a rebel-held neighborhood with sarin nerve agent. We've spoken with several Syrian rebel groups tonight that are keen for the US to take military action against the Syrian regime because they hope it'll stop the regime from bombing them. But Scott, they no longer have any expectation that America will help them win their war.
Holly Williams near the Syrian border.
Trump also supports cultural Marxist ideologies like genders are equal and cultures are equal to each other.
That all of us are created equal. We are equal in the eyes of our Creator. We are equal under the law. That all of us are created equal. We are equal in the eyes of our Creator. We are equal under the law. All of us are created equal. We are equal in the eyes of our Creator. We are equal under the law.
Worst of all, President Trump advocated for and successfully brought about a biometric database with a surveillance system, a cashless society, and a mark to make a cashless financial transaction.
The biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
Let me tell you, he was successful. And just before he left presidency, this mark that we had to take in for food rather than exchange money, this mark was originally his initials, DJT, to fool people. It was later changed to 666 once Trump stepped down from his presidency, giving it to a woman who established herself as dictator, merged America over with Israel, and established a one world order dictated by one one who had power over all the others who helped him with it, the Antichrist. Oh, what's this one world order like? We're given a mark for food, and the government decides whether or not you get this mark. And it's based upon your beliefs and loyalty to the one world order. Since I am a Christian whose beliefs totally contradict this form of government, and since I am a person who is totally against it, if the government were to find out my Christian views and values, they could deprive me of this mark and I would starve. For your hard work, you get this mark, and it's only good for your basic needs. Everyone pretty much is poor. Unless you're a government official, of course. You can barely afford food. You can barely afford the shelter you live under. Luckily, I had some soup down in my kitchen and enough vegetables and a slice of spinach bread to make this lovely meal right here. Although I only have to, I only get to eat this much per day. I can't have the normal 3 meals. I limit myself to 1. I really had to ration because the government doesn't give us that much food. We're limited on food, so this is what I'm gonna eat. Oh, it's so good. It feels so good when you finally get to eat food. I don't get a lot of it, so when I do finally get to eat, it's such a relief. Oh my goodness. It tastes so good. This sandwich and soup is like a big old steak and baked potato. It's like a rich man's diet for me. For most people. It's so good. Anyways, now that I'm done eating and you guys know about my poor diet, you guys are probably wondering what type of moral laws are enforced in a one world society. Well, none. Transgenderism, homosexuality, fornication, sodomy, abortion, bestiality, it's all allowed. Everything goes. All sorts of degeneracy is okay because it weakens people. It weakens the mind, and people will do anything for a government that lets them do everything. So it's super anarchish, total chaos. And if you say anything discriminatory or against this type of morality, the government will shut you down for it. They'll silence you in any form they can because they don't want you speaking out against something that weakens people, because then they would lose control of people if they smartened up. Pretty much. Oh, and don't think you can get away with speaking out against degeneracy either, because there's cameras all around, almost everywhere. And there's always someone listening. I mean, people could be listening to me right now and reporting me to the government because the government offers rewards for people like me to be turned into them because I'm a threat to their power. And they know it. So, they'll silence us in any way possible, and they'll offer awards to people that help them silence us. Oh, I think I'm getting sick. With our healthcare system, I mean, there's this big waiting list. So, if I have anything severely bad, then, I'm done for. Anyways, you get the picture. Total government control. The government's up your ass. No privacy. And they'll shut you down if you differ with them. People will help them to earn favor with the government. Because, they need a reward to feed their family, right? Because the government controls who gets what. And And it all depends on if you favor with them, not hard work. Not hard work whatsoever. It's not based on merit or hierarchy, because in the government's eyes, everyone's equal. Someone who works at McDonald's is equal to someone who's a doctor. I mean, everyone's equal. It all depends on if the government likes you or not. Or if you're on the government side, then you'll be favored. Anyhow, I needed to get some shut-eye. I did my job in making a video to warn you guys of the past, and I hope you take into consideration all that I have said. It's only for y'all's well-being. Oh, I'm worn out. Later.